In 1994, the internet was a commercial void. The very idea of putting a credit card into a website sounded ridiculous to most people. But inside that void was a single statistic. Early internet adoption was growing by 2,000% every year. Over on Wall Street, a young Jeff Bezos was staring at that number. He had an excellent salary and a secure position at a major investment firm, but he viewed his life through a concept he called the regret minimization framework. He imagined himself at 80 years old, deciding he would rather risk his career and fail than look back and regret never exploring the internet. Bezos and his wife, Mackenzie Scott, packed their car and drove west. He typed out the business plan from the passenger seat. They targeted Seattle. The city offered a deep pool of software engineers and sat incredibly close to major physical book distributors. He traded a lucrative financial safety net to place an absolute bet on an untested digital frontier. Every physical retail store shares a single, unavoidable limit: space. No matter how large you build a bookstore, physics dictates exactly how many titles can sit on the shelves. Books solved almost every problem for a digital startup. They were uniform in size, simple to pack, and millions of titles in print. This diagram compares the constraints of a physical store footprint to the digital advantage. While a physical location hits a fixed capacity, an online database acts as an infinitely expanding bookshelf that holds everything. That endless shelf started inside a rented Seattle garage. They bypassed expensive office furniture, favoring cheap equipment and long nights over looking like a successful corporation. When the website launched in July 1995, the team set up a small bell. They rigged it to ring every time a customer placed an order. Within just a few weeks, global orders poured in. The bell rang so constantly they had to permanently shut it off. Solving the spatial limits of physical retail made the company an immediate hit. To scale into a true empire, however, Amazon would have to completely abandon all traditional business rules and forge a new path. The early days of Amazon were notoriously frugal. Employees assembled their own desks out of cheap wooden doors to minimize costs. This controversial strategy consistently angered Wall Street. Instead of extracting short-term profit, Bezos routed revenue directly into building warehouses and hiring engineers. By looping capital into infrastructure, Amazon increased delivery speeds, attracting more customers and revenue, which funded even more infrastructure. In the late 1990s, the internet went through a manic investment frenzy, culminating in the devastating dot-com crash of 2000. While hype-driven competitors vanished and Amazon's own stock price fell, the company survived because its capital had gone toward building real, physical value for the customer. By consistently delaying gratification, Amazon assembled an operational fortress that its dying competitors simply could not match. With physical logistics scaling, the company confronted a psychological barrier. Shoppers consistently abandoned their online carts because of expensive shipping costs. In 2005, the company introduced Amazon Prime. Customers paid one flat annual fee in exchange for unlimited, fast shipping on millions of items. This flywheel model illustrates the sunk cost logic at play. After paying the membership fee, users defaulted to Amazon for all purchases to justify the expense. This guaranteed loyalty allowed rapid expansion beyond books, integrating electronics, toys, and clothing to become the everything store. Prime converted occasional shoppers into permanent residents of the Amazon ecosystem. As this ecosystem grew, Amazon ran into an internal crisis. Their digital footprint was expanding so fast that running the underlying servers was becoming unmanageable. In 2006, engineers built a flexible internal computing network to solve the bottleneck. They quickly realized they could rent this computing power to other businesses, creating AWS. Startups avoided buying expensive servers, and AWS quietly scaled into the foundational infrastructure of the modern internet. Amazon aggressively moved to solve friction in the physical world, too. In 2014, they launched Alexa to eliminate the need for a physical screen entirely. 3 years later, they acquired Whole Foods Market, securing a massive physical footprint in grocery logistics. By identifying and solving its own internal bottlenecks, Amazon accidentally evolved from a simple retailer into the invisible infrastructure of everyday life. In 2020, the global pandemic forced millions into lockdown, shutting down physical retail and creating an immediate stress test for global supply chains. Decades of relentless reinvestment in logistics, warehouses, and AWS culminated in Amazon serving as the essential quarantine lifeline for the globe. The financial payoff arrived. The delayed profits of the past transformed into massive cash flow, pushing Amazon's market value over $1 trillion. In 2021, Jeff Bezos stepped down. He handed the CEO role to Andy Jassy, the architect who had originally built AWS into a global powerhouse. This visualization tracks the total evolution. From a single rented garage, Amazon expanded into retail, mapped global logistics, deployed cloud infrastructure, and integrated artificial intelligence and entertainment. Amazon didn't become a trillion-dollar company overnight. They built an empire by continuously reinventing themselves through an absolute obsession with making the customer's life easier.